Hey guys, so in this video we're going to look at regression by eye. So this is probably the second method of regression you'll use, and this is the second method. So the first method you'll use is calculating linear regression using what we call the ordinary least squares method, but we don't get into calculating that. We only get into calculating, say, the regression by the 3 median or the by eye. The only time you'll be asked to calculate what's called an ordinary linear least squares regression, or an OLS, the only time you'll be asked to calculate that is using a calculator, so I won't show you how to do it by hand because it's not going to be relevant to you. So this method which we're looking at now is called regression by eye, and it's exactly as it sounds. So we use our eye to fit a line to our data. So I'm looking at this X and Y data which you guys also are looking at, and what we can see is that it basically goes upwards in a trend this way, and as our X variable increases, our Y variable also tends to increase. So when we're looking at this regression by eye, what we want to do is we want to fit a regression line, which is a relationship. So a regression is just a relationship that explains this data. We're looking to fit that just using our eyes, so we're just visually fitting it. And because we're visually fitting it, it's not going to be that accurate. So it's not as accurate as what we call the least squares method, or that calculating the regression, and it's also not as accurate as using what's called a 3 median regression line. But if we were to do this, all we'd essentially do is just draw a line, and we draw a straight line. So mine's not straight because I haven't got a ruler, but we draw a straight line just through the data, and we'd essentially aim to get points, an equal amount of points on both sides. And then this line, this becomes our equation, and we use that to explain our regression. So this will be the equation, say, y equals mx plus c. The thing with this regression by eye is that everyone's going to fit a different line. So we could fit a million different lines because we have no mathematical way of doing it. All we're trying to do is eyeball our data and say, you know what, we've got 50% of points on one side, 50% on the other. But if I look at it and I fit a line, and then you look at it, you might fit this line. So this might be me, and this will be you. And you might say your line explains the data better than my line does. Or someone else might come by. So you might get Joe Frazier comes by, and Joe Frazier says, hey guys, I'm Joe Frazier. This is what I think the line is. So regression by eye is purely just trying to get 50% of the points on either side of the line, and we're trying to fit the relationship by eye to make it look like we have an accurate explanation. So it's not the downside to this, and I'll write it over here, is that it is not accurate and it is not consistent. So there are two downsides to our regression by eye, but an upside is that it's quick. So you can look at it and you can be like, oh yeah, the lines, we're all going to say the relationship is positive, and we'll all probably say it's moderate to strong. So it's quick, gives us a nice indicator of what the relationship is, but it's not accurate and it's not consistent, so it differs between people. So that's regression by eye, and I'll put up a video doing both the 3 median and the linear regression method. Cheers guys.